Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am doing a skincare inventory video. So last year I did one in January and I did not do an update at all in besides the January entry in 2019. So it's been a year and I figured I should look at this. I am going to try to keep better track of my inventory numbers for skincare this year, especially since the fact is that Bo and I hopefully will be moving within a year and a half to a year and a half from now. And I do not want to pack all of this into a suitcase if I can help it. So let me go through. I have slid over, so I'm going to put a photo up here so that you can see my collection, and I occasionally will be looking down at my notes. So January of last year for cleansers, I had 14. This year I have 17. I did not realize that this number went up, so I definitely want to work on getting that down, and I'm going to set my goal to get my number down to 10, possibly under that, by the end of this year. Next up, we have exfoliators and exfoliating products, and last year I had 9. This year I still have 9. This is a category that I realize I don't reach for enough, and I definitely need to work on getting these things out and not oversaturating this part of my category again, or this category of like my skincare again, because I obviously don't go through them that quickly. So my goal this coming by the end of this year, I'd like to get it down to 5. Now, masks. So this is one that I think the numbers sound worse than what they are because a lot of these are like single-use items. But masks, last year I had 10, this year I have 11, and I did use up some of these things, and then I did get some like single use, like I said, sheet masks this year. So I'm not too worried about this, but I do have a goal to get this down and to 5 this year. Next category, moisturizers. Sorry about that, I had to make that joke. And last year I had 9, this year I have 8. And so we're moving in the right direction, and my goal will be to get that down to 5 by the end of this year. The next category is eye creams, and last year I had 8, this year I have 8. And again, I kind of realized like, okay, I don't really believe in eye cream. I'm like one of those people who kind of think that maybe it might be a little bit gimmicky, I think is my worry. Because if it's a cream that's really that good for your under eye, wouldn't you want to put it all over your face? So I've had these eye creams given to me in like little gift bags here and there. I don't believe I bought any of them. I think they've all been like gifts with purchases kind of thing. And I just don't use them that often. So I am going to try to force myself to get through some of these. So my goal will be to get this down to 5 because I realistically know that they do take a good bit of time to use up. I am so sorry if you hear construction noises in my building. I don't know why they decided to do this today. I waited late for them because I thought they were done in the morning, and apparently they aren't. Apparently they just took a really long lunch, but I really need to get this filmed, so I'm so sorry. We're gonna try to do this. I think where I was at was I was saying that my goal for eye creams is going to be to get that down to 5 because I know that I don't realistically go through eye creams that quickly. Next up, I have spot treatment items, and in 2019 I had 9. This year I have 14, which I realized I don't know how that went up, but it did. So my goal for this year is going to be to get that down to 7 because I don't need that many. Then I have oils and serums, and last year I had 8, this year I have 10. My goal is to get that to 5. Now this is part of my collection that even though it's kind of larger, I do use all of these products pretty often, and I like to reach for oils and serums. So if that one doesn't go down as quickly, I'm okay with that. Next up is the category sunscreen, and I had 7 last year. This year I have 9, and my goal will be to get that to 5. Then we have lip care. This one is intense. Please don't judge me too hard. Last year I had 43. This year I have 65. So a full disclosure here, my husband goes through those lip balms, the Carmex ones. He can, if his lips get dry, which we haven't really had horrible weather in Sweden lately, but we're getting a bunch of snow this week, so I anticipate that he's about to start going through these like crazy. But I've literally seen him use a Carmex lip balm in a matter of less than 2 weeks. So a lot of this was gifted to us at Christmas time because our family members are like, we know that this kind of stuff can be expensive in Sweden, and they literally like filled us up. So this is a lot, but hopefully my husband will help me get this number down to under 40 by the end of the year. Next up, I call this part of my collection toners, but really it's just facial sprays mostly. I had 6 last year, I have 7 this year. My goal is to get this down to 3. And I do think this is pretty realistic. A lot of these things are either mini items, and so yeah, I know for sure that I go through like a large Mario Badescu bottle like a year, and one of the small ones maybe even in a year. So I'm not too worried about this one. I don't feel like it's too out of control, but I would like to get this one down a little bit more. Next up, we have the tanning category, and last year I had 4 items. I still have those same 4 items this year, which I realized I need to start tanning more. I need to work these things out of my collection because I don't know if the potency of like the tan like lowers as it gets old, so I don't want them to become like unusable. So I want to try to cut that in half this year and get that to 2. Then I have body lotions, and last year I had 8. This year I have 8. My goal is to get that to 4. Now this is something that I realize I have this tendency to hold on to things versus using them up, because I like to have things, which I want to break that mindset a little bit. And so I need to kind of work them out, and that way I can have like 1 to 2 lotions and use them up and then get that replaced. I don't need a collection of body lotions, I don't think. Next up, we're moving into the category of fragrance, and I'm sorry that I'm throwing all of this under the skincare category. I don't really know what to call this. I guess this is just skin and beauty products, maybe is what I need to call this video. So fragrance, last year I had 9 and 23 samples. This year I have 12 fragrances and 23 samples, which is a lot. Some of these are home in like storage, and so out of the ones that I have here, I think it's realistic that my goal, I can set that for this year to try to get it down to under 8, and then really work on my samples and get them down to under 10. So I think that's realistic, and maybe I can even surpass that, but we'll see. Last up, the last category that we're going to talk about is polish, and last year I had 6. I wasn't someone at the beginning of last year who wore a lot of nail polish, and I wanted to change that, and now I think I have 19, which I do think is a little bit too large. I have some duplicates of things like I bought backups of, and I probably in hindsight know that I could have waited to buy those things, but I didn't. So I'm going to try to work this down a little bit over the next year, and I really just want to enjoy my collection versus expand it. So I'm going to try to get that down to get the 2 duplicates out of my collection and get that down to 17. Okay, that is everything for my skincare beauty product kind of thing. So let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you say hello, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.